to the Johnson City Living podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just an amazing place to live. It is another fantastic day here in Johnson City. Drove just downtown to the Market Street Media office, where I got to see my good friend Leighton Hart, and another good friend was waiting here to jump on the podcast with me. Nathan Dean Buckmaster is joining us, ladies and gentlemen. He is the managing partner of Bonefish. He's the husband and father of just an amazing family, and he's a good friend and goes to church with us at Redstone. How you doing this morning, Mr. Buckmaster?
Great, thanks.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for saying yes to getting on a podcast and getting out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I get to be your first podcast. I'm excited about it.
I'm glad I get a morning to hang out with you and meet Leighton.
Yeah, Leighton's such a good dude. Okay, so it's the Johnson City Living podcast. So, what is number one on your list for why you love Johnson City? What's so awesome about it in your mind?
Quality of life. Seeing all of God's creation in abundance surrounding me.
Yeah,
My commute to work's limited. My interaction with traffic also limited. My interaction with nature, outdoors, rivers, lakes is abundant, and it
I love
offers
that.
me peace. It
Yeah.
offers me a lot of tranquility.
I love the way you said that. We don't have much traffic.
Nope.
We don't have a long commute. Nope, it's just easy. And you don't live. Are you in the county technically right there? Yeah,
Yeah.
you are, aren't you? Because we were talking about that the other day. And so yeah, you don't have too far to work. And so when did you guys come to Johnson City? You and Nicole is your wife.
So,
in
spring 2013.
2013. And
Yeah.
so what brought you to the area?
Bonefish Grill.
Bonefish Grill. So you are the managing partner of Bonefish. And how long have you been with the organization?
About 12 years.
Okay. So where were you before you came here?
I've worked with Bonefish at about a dozen locations now, and started with them in Colorado.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And did you go to school to say, "Hey, I'm gonna get into restaurant touring"?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school?
I studied business at Northeast State,
Okay.
and I said that wrong. Nashville State.
Nashville State.
Nashville State.
Yeah, we've got a Northeast State.
Yeah.
I was like, you were here earlier, and then went back.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Nashville State.
Gotcha.
And then I finished college at Johnson and Wales in Denver.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So learned business and culinary arts both, in an hourly capacity, and just trying to better suit myself to be good at the trade, the
Okay.
art.
Well, you don't sound like you're from Nashville. Where'd you grow up?
Michigan.
Yeah.
Graduated high school in Michigan, just outside of Detroit, about 45 minutes outside of Detroit.
Okay. So
Yep.
is that where you grew up? Like you were born in Michigan and
Yep.
pretty much all your life there?
Yeah, single mom, so we were pretty mobile as far as housing, and a lot of time with her parents and supporting that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Michigan was home. Spent some time in Tennessee briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Heritage High School down in Knoxville,
Oh, cool.
or Maryville,
Yeah.
for a small period of time, and then back up to Michigan. So
So you had a Tennessee connection kind of over the years.
dad, when their family, my parents divorced in about 88.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in 80. In 88, his parents moved to Cookeville,
Okay.
and the rest of that entire family came south.
Oh
So
wow.
every year for a couple of weeks through the summer, I would go to Cookeville, and I would definitely be that youngster that was back flipping rocks looking for salamanders and crawfish
Oh
for
man.
hours.
Yeah.
Until it was lunchtime. Nadine was out there having fun again with God's creation.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't really play such a role on me at the time, but yeah.
So tell me, Nadine,
Yeah.
how'd you get that nickname?
Yeah, well, Nathan Dean and
Okay.
Grandpa Buck, or as his friends call him, Bucky.
That guy's got to be cool.
Probably the coolest man I know.
Yeah. Tell me
Yeah.
about Bucky.
So it didn't offend me. It didn't offend me when he called me Nadine. I don't know that you're allowed to do it, but
I won't.
we'll
No,
talk.
sir.
We'll talk about that further.
No, sir. I will not be calling you Nadine. Okay. So tell me about Bucky.
Gerald Buckmaster, World War II vet, came from orphanage
Yeah.
with the rest of his family,
Holy
and
smokes.
created a family just outside of Detroit, Pontiac, Michigan, and was a fire captain in the riots in the 80s,
Oh, wow.
70s, I should say, riots
Okay.
in the
Yeah.
70s, and taught school at a local college, was a medic, and just good man, humble man, hardworking man, and you know, showed me a lot of love and support through my life. So,
Mm.
he's good people.
Yeah. He's still around?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep.
How old's Bucky now?
84.
84.
Yep.
I bet. So you have two boys. They're adorable. Do they love to go hang out with Grandpa Bucky?
They do. Life has a funny way of working, and Grandpa at this age, rolling solo in his home as of just recently, and his patience for children somewhat limited now. So my guys are good, well behaved.
They really are good boys. Yeah.
But there's a lot of breakables in the house.
Mhm.
So and Grandpa's
Grandpa, you come to us.
Yeah.
We'll bring you in. They can break whatever we
Put
got.
it this way, he does turn off the hearing aids at a point. So that's a note that I've put down for my books when I get to that ripe old age, if the Lord has that plan for me.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just turn it down a notch,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah.
Grandpa loves you, but it's gonna be quiet time.
Mute button.
That's awesome. Where does he live?
Cookville.
Cookville.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Cookville.
he's in Cookville. And then, so where were you prior to coming here, and how long were you there?
Memphis. So joined Bonefish in Denver, finishing at Johnson and Wales, and had a girlfriend at the time. And Lord works in mysterious ways.
He works.
I come back
great
to
ways.
Knoxville, Tennessee, to find out that she had long moved on. So without that, I probably would have never come back to Tennessee, right? But who's to say?
You never know.
Transferred
right?
from Bonefish Denver to Bonefish Knoxville. Bonefish Knoxville got promoted to management, salaried spot, culinary manager, which was exactly the title I was aiming for. And just had somebody, Rick Dower was the joint venture partner at the time, and he's the one that saw a little bit of spark in me, along with the current managing partner. And they sent me to Memphis, and I was stoked. Blues and barbecue, right? Mississippi
Yeah.
River.
Oh my gosh.
Mud Island.
I was born in Memphis.
Oh,
My
yeah?
grandparents lived there for years, and so we'd make that drive in the summer, and
Yeah.
so hot down
Yeah.
there. But yes, loved Memphis.
and
Love Memphis.
That commute west of Nashville is horrific.
It's fantastic. It's like once you get past Jackson, you're down in the Delta, and it's just flat, and you just see swampland all the way there.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. I mean, it's got a kind of a neat feel to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a different look
Yep.
than up here for sure.
Seeing the ghost section of the Wolf River out there, and Shelby Farms, and
Mm.
some of the natural amenities that are out there, was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
So you've been to 12 different locations, you said. Was that hard, just jumping from here to there and leaving?
Well, they do some of it in your training platform,
Okay.
to give you the diversity of a different facility, and
Okay.
and learning to work with different leaders, managers,
Mhm.
as a subordinate, and then again as a leader or manager of other subordinates. So yeah, Ohio, Alabama, Georgia, seen a few locations. Just did a stint in Louisville in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
The team, if there's a challenge at a location, they spread it out, first traditionally to the region.
Mhm.
Hey, region, can you lend a hand?
Like we've got a manager out or
Right.
something.
What
right?
hourly, even sometimes, in today's workforce,
Mhm.
there's issues with hourlies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just previewed to some information at one of the stores, running with like limited team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Limited team.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, we could lend a hand. Who do you want? And there was a pause, and they were like, well, if we could have you, that'd be nice. So I checked with the boss, my
Nicole,
wife,
right?
yes.
Number.
And then I checked with my leadership team at the restaurant and said, I'm going to head out for a week or so and just lend a hand somewhere else.
Yeah.
So
And I
that's
think,
fun.
yeah, it's probably fun to get a different
It is
scenery,
fun.
different people.
Teaches you so many things. You
Oh,
can
and
gain
yeah,
a lot of perspective in that way because everybody executes so differently,
yeah.
with their families, with traffic, no matter what, right?
And kind of like Grandpa Buck, you were going to put out a fire.
Everything different, you can just do it in so many different ways. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. That's
yeah.
cool. Now, you got a business degree and you went to culinary school. Which one did you prefer, like school wise, if you had to pick one?
Culinary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what you loved about that. Because yeah, Johnson and Wales always sounded like fun to go and learn how to cook.
Yeah.
And I mean, well, not cook, but to be a chef, right?
I still don't call myself a chef. I don't know why. Maybe it's I don't know.
Would
Um,
other people coming out of Johnson and Wales say they're chefs?
probably,
Probably. So you could
probably.
say that.
Yeah.
Is it because you're not behind you're not whipping it up all the time?
Yeah, my title's not really an executive chef. I'm not, in charge of creation.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
So if
So
you were, you'd probably say I'm the chef at Bonefish.
yeah, it wouldn't be necessarily Bonefish. I will say that I've got Chef K on my line.
Yeah.
Her name's Kyra, and
Oh, cool.
she goes by Chef K. We got her a Bonefish hat, and on the back it says Chef K.
Chef K. I
So
love it. That's great.
yeah, Culinary School was outstanding. Denver, the Johnson and Wales campus is built on a former women's monastery,
Oh, wow.
Catholic monastery. So you can imagine, some of the churches or the steeples
Yeah, I
or
bet it's
the
beautiful.
classrooms. It's incredible.
And you're mile high.
Yeah, and it's moments outside of downtown. And I was doing it on my own dime, so it was it was very pricey.
Yeah.
Um,
You're like, I'm going to do really well.
and I committed to it.
Yeah. If you're
A
paying
lot.
for it, you got
That's
some
right.
skin in the game.
Well, and I finished college at 29, so I went to my first culinary program through Pellissippi State,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a naval chef that taught it. It was a
Oh,
summer
wow.
course at Lakeside Resort in Smithville, Tennessee, and that was in probably 03 or 04.
Oh, wow.
And I was hooked.
Yeah.
I got to work with him. It was 5 days a week, starting at 7 a.m., like 7 to 2 or 7 to 3. And it was like a 45-minute commute for me to and fro. But his attitude, his demeanor was infectious. And the art, the creativity, the opportunity for innovation.
Sure.
And then the pride that's there when somebody's like that melt in your mouth kind of. I probably didn't satisfy that, but
Well, you do now.
yeah, a really, really, really outstanding plate and the pleasure that gives the diner
Yeah.
is priceless. We all love eating.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, from there I was hooked, and obviously not a lot of culinary options here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I pursued business and put a minor into entrepreneurship, learned ethics and leadership and accounting and some of the other pillars that are needed to manage a profit and loss statement. And then culinary school was sweet. I was thinking about it, kind of pre-gaming for this. Chef Stebbins, Lavallee, there was a lot. Mercer. I remember several of my chefs in Johnson and Wales, and even remembering the classroom setting and
Yeah.
stuff. Learning about meat fab and breaking down into primal cuts and then finding your tenderloin or spare ribs or whatever it is you're searching for. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So there are lots of different disciplines in the culinary world, right? I mean, you
Mhm.
can go all kinds of ways. Tell us a little bit about that, and what was your favorite? Like, I mean, I don't see you making eclairs every day, but
Right.
you probably could.
Well, baking and pastry didn't really have my attention as far as career. I did enjoy learning about it,
Mm-hmm.
going through, course one and course two. Um, the chef was French, and he was excellent. He was excellent. He was a great leader, and he taught me a lot. The science behind baking and pastries is a little bit. I don't want to say it lacks creativity, but there's a lot of restrictions there when you talk about leavening and
Sure.
things.
You got to be very
Timing,
precise.
yeah, timing, temperature, humidity
Mm-hmm.
levels. There's a lot there, but um, the creativity that can happen in a kitchen is a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we briefly talked about a chef. You know, my idea of a chef is someone that can go to a market and look at the available
Right.
products and come up with a recipe and have that satisfied
Yeah.
guest at the end of the plate. You know, so
Which is
um,
that's a huge skill. I
oh, it's
mean,
huge. The creativity is there, and you know,
well, just being able to survey the your kind of,
yeah,
your opportunities and saying, okay, well, I don't see any eggplant today, so we're not going to go with eggplant. We're going to go with whatever.
digging further, understanding nutrition,
Yeah.
and trying to, you know, create a balanced meal
Right.
that's not detrimental,
Mm-hmm.
right? On a repetitive intake, not detrimental to your body.
Mm.
You know, nutrition, health, and wellness is a primary uh, uh, task or skill set needed for a chef.
Right.
I mean, that's what you're doing. You are what you eat. So
Yeah. And we believe that. And last night I was some fried chicken.
yeah,
So
eh,
you know,
it's all in relativity. You
moderation.
know, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
coffee, cheesecake, you know, French fries.
Yeah.
You know, the goal would be moderation.
Moderation.
So
Not all the time.
yeah,
Can't eat it all the time. I'd
yeah.
love to, but yeah. So you learn even how to take a whole piece of beef and like break it down, like butcher style, right? I guess
Oh
they
yeah.
teach you all that. They teach you how to even, I mean, I don't even know what to talk about it, but vegetables and all the whole world of that side of it, roots
Uh,
and tubers and
yep.
um,
Yep. You don't hear that very often, tubers. Yeah.
tubers. Yeah.
You know, you're right though. You know, you get stocks and sauces.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, from your fabrication, your meat fabrication, you know, a lot of times you'll say bones, and create a stock, you know, utilizing a vegetable
Mm-hmm.
bouquet, mirepoix, and then herb mix and create a stock. And, you know, the gelatin that's available in bone,
Oh yeah.
the way that you can get the stock to gelatinize without adding anything, nothing
It's
but
crazy.
reduction and bone. It's really beautiful. We've been raising some livestock at home,
Yeah.
just for fun,
Yeah.
and we were doing pigs for years. And we would make pork stock, and you know, you'd cook it. I think most people would cook a bone stock for somewhere around 72 hours.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, so you just let it keep going on low, and you know, I would call it maybe somewhere around reducing by half.
Mm-hmm.
So half of the water that you added originally is evaporated, but what you're left with is the most decadent, savory stock, and it's from scratch.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
you
know,
watch the pig grow up, eat. You know exactly what's in that
hmm
thing. You
hmm
Yeah. You
hmm
even harvested the
and
pig.
we created the plate that I'm thinking about was
Oh
like
yeah.
a pork belly ramen bowl.
Oh yum.
So we just did ramen noodles, and then did our pork stock, you know, with
Ugh.
vegetables and some fresh cilantro, maybe a little bit of sesame seeds. For me, a little bit of sriracha.
Yeah, I love a little
Um,
heat.
it
Sure.
was fire. It was
So good.
absolutely, yeah, like one of the best plates I've eaten in a long time.
Now, can Nicole, your wife, cook as well?
She has she's become an outstanding
Isn't
cook,
that awesome?
an outstanding cook.
And she's like an amazing. She makes tinctures and creams, and she takes herbs that you guys grow on your farm, and just does all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what you guys do on your mini farm, just around the corner.
Well, it's good, you know, like the stay-at-home mom, you know, I think that I've witnessed at a point you can become a little stir crazy.
Sure.
So it's good for her to, number one, you know, have her job. She's a nurse here in
Right.
town. And then number two, this hobby, you know, or secondary job
Right.
now that the hobbies become or hybrid into.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's set up a herb garden that's pretty substantial, growing a variety of things. And you know, through nursing and you know, health and wellness, trying to read and understand some of the medicinal purposes
Hmm.
of these items.
Yeah.
You know, and like we said earlier, talking about God and His creation, East Tennessee has. I was looking at the parking lot at Bonefish yesterday, and I'm looking at the weeds popping up everywhere, and the trees and the mix, and I'm just enamored, like at awe at the creativity
Uh huh.
and the presentation of the buds or the leaves or the flowers or whatever it is. We have a lot of medicinal herbs occurring naturally
Yeah.
here in East Tennessee, a lot.
Yeah.
And they're readily available for us. There's wild lettuce that you can eat that just grows on the ground.
Just grows on the ground.
Yeah.
You can eat dandelion salad.
We fried dandelions this year.
Oh, yeah.
Dandelion flowers,
Uh-huh.
a little bit of tempura batter, and then pan fried. We just ate them that way with a little bit of salt and pepper the first timer. And I said, if I was going to recreate this, I would probably drizzle something sweet, whether it be like a good local honey or a good maple syrup, or
is that because they're a little bitter or something?
There is a hint of bitterness to it. It's really not prevalent, but it's subtle.
Yeah.
And that sweetness would really overcome. I mean, naturally, a fried item has a savory flavor profile, pretty much anything fried. But the balance that you can add with just a little bit of salt, kosher salt, sea salt, Himalayan, whatever you want to use, and then the contrast and what that does to your palate, that savory and sweet is just exploding. A crisp factor from the tempura. You got a lot of things going on.
My mouth is actually watering right now.
It would be good. It would be really creative.
Every time you talk about food, I'm like, man, that sounds right. So how did you go now when you're in culinary school? Were you like planning on, hey, I'm going to become a Michelin 4-star chef somewhere and have my own kind of restaurant? Or were you like, well, I think I'm just going to get into the workforce somewhere? What was your plan there?
I think that was it. I think that I would like to say that I've always had a lot of humility. My goal in this life is to be able to satisfy my family, to be able to satisfy them emotionally, through love and patience, and then obviously through the financial platform for them to have the things that they need.
Right.
But other than that, my dreams are not too huge. I'm a pretty simple man, and I enjoy that. I enjoy that. So I stay busy, that's for sure.
You do. You're like a Renaissance man. Like, I mean, you're working on your Jeep before you came in. You're going to be like frying dandelions later. I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff going on. You're raising ducks, chickens, cows. I mean, like everything you could think of. The farm is just really cool. It's really neat to watch it all happen. And it's inspiring because I'm like, this guy's getting it done.
Well, I will say that it's come with some sacrifice and some cost. We did decide to stop doing pigs this year. St. Patty's Day was the
end
day,
of the pigs.
Yeah, the day that we called it quits, and we had a St. Patty's Day celebration. Corned beef and cabbage and Guinness and friends.
Yeah.
And the workload with hogs is tremendous. These hogs finished at about 500 pounds a piece. And they were consuming about 50 pounds of food every 2 days. So you can imagine just throwing 50 pounds of feed over your shoulder every 2 days.
Every 2 days, that's a workout.
Much less when you go to Tractor Supply or Co-op to get 600 pounds or 300 pounds.
Right, just a week's worth.
You're moving those too.
Yeah.
So every 50 pounds, you're literally moving. And
how big did they start when you got these hogs?
I've got a photo. I mean, that big around.
They're like
I've got
pounders.
a photo holding one of them. I mean, it was a little micro thing, like Chihuahua-ish.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, if I had to tag it.
Yeah.
And I've got a photo in the shrilling squeal that you can get from a hog. It's just insane.
Yeah, they're little cute things.
Oh, it was hilarious. No,
and then
a lot of
they
fun.
later grow up to be 500 pounders, which is just amazing.
And devastating. I learned a new term that was presented to me: moonscaping.
Moonscaping. What is moonscaping?
So pigs obviously have their snout. I don't know the science behind it, but the skeletal bone goes straight to the snout.
Okay.
So they have hard bone
right
really
down
to the
powerful
snout.
nose.
So that allows them to trench. And,
yeah.
They call it rooting. And that's why you have the septum or the hog ring.
Okay.
And the design would be that there's a tenderness in there.
And so grinding that would hurt a little bit.
Any
slow
kind
it down.
of tension or pulling would catch their attention.
Gotcha.
And be like, whoa, I need to stop doing that.
Right.
But their carnage that they can play on soil is is devastating. We had these hogs in a parcel, 3 of them all together, in a parcel for less than 1 year. And you've got ruts, probably 12 inches deep in some places,
That's crazy.
up and down. Like, watch out
Like
for
they basically
ankles.
kind of tilled it
Oh yeah,
almost.
oh yeah. But it's like
But
an unfinished tilling. So like you've got like peaks and valleys, and if
it's
you
like
don't
you can't
have
go
boots
plant that.
on,
Right.
no, like shoes, you're probably twisting an ankle.
Yeah. You're gonna.
But what we did is we took advantage of it and put a bunch of crimson clover on it. Nicole did it. My wife did it. Spread a ton of crimson clover seed,
That's cool.
and the deer are already coming in.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So coming in to harvest the clover.
That's fun.
Yep.
Neat. What's your favorite animal to raise? Because you also have chickens and ducks, and
Do kids qualify? No.
they can be little
Um,
animals for
yeah,
sure.
right. Um, yeah, I don't know that I would pick necessarily a favorite animal.
Yeah.
They're all
Individually. Yeah.
they all come with their own set of needs, necessities, attention. Chickens are fun, birds are fun because they don't necessarily need attention every day.
Right.
I could set myself up to look at a flock of birds. We're running somewhere around 50 birds right now.
Oh, wow.
And if I do it right, I have to deal with them every other day. And that's the chicks. That's
Gotcha. Little guys.
that's the newborns
Yeah.
that draw the attention more than the adults.
Mhm.
They free range, and they've got acreage to forage on and find whatever they're looking for, bugs, weeds, whatever they're looking for. So birds are fun. Fresh eggs, they're hard to beat.
How did you wind up working for becoming a managing partner? Tell everybody what a managing partner is with Bonefish.
So the managing partner role is very similar to a general manager role,
Okay.
in that my job is to operate a profitable financial statement,
Mm-hmm.
to understand, the cost management through operating supplies, through beer cost, liquor cost, labor cost, kitchen, all the above, repair and maintenance, all of these pieces hit that financial profit and
There's a
loss
lot that
statement.
goes into running a restaurant. Like, I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
yeah, and then you got to manage people on top of it. So you not
And
only,
guests, yeah.
and
Like
then you
staff
got,
and the guests,
and the
yeah.
guests. Don't forget about the
Yeah.
the people bringing the money to the table.
Right.
So, and you do a fantastic job. Every time I'm in there, I'm like, you're either behind the counter, welcoming somebody in the door, or I see you back in the back plating some food, maybe, or you're out taking out the trash. I mean, you're all over the place, and you're doing it with a servant's heart, and you're doing it well, and it's just fun to watch. And everybody who comes in there has always got a great, you know. I guess they look at you and they're like, "Man, this guy's really got it going on." Because everybody I talk to says Nate's just fantastic, right? Every person I talk to who's gone to Bonefish, you do a great job of meeting the guest and making friends with them. I think that's how we met. Probably like 10. I don't know how long you've been here, but probably about 10 years ago, you just came and I was like, "Hey, this guy's really nice. I want to become friends with him." And we just started hanging out and talking after that. And so you do a great job of making friends with everybody who comes in, but also managing the staff well and friendly, taking care of them as well. So it's neat. I don't know if you want to talk about kind of your heart towards that or how you do it so well, because I think that some people could pick up on a lot of good tips from you in that area.
Well, I'm very humbled to hear that.
Yeah.
Try to, use all of the provisions that the Lord's equipped me with,
Mm-hmm.
to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
And, the guest means a lot to me. I said it recently, and I'll make sure that my mom and my grandmother hear this, but
Mm.
both grandmothers played a role. But as a youngster, my mom worked at a Christian private school,
Yeah.
in the kitchen. So I was probably the one that was sitting over in the corner doing schoolwork or trying to stay out of trouble. So that was, probably my first introduction to kitchen,
Right.
commercialized kitchen.
Sure.
But, to be honest, we have a very hospitality driven family.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into my grandmother's house and she's greeting you with a beverage. She's got a plan for a snack, and the meals are all coordinated. You know, bedding, what it's all thought of.
That's
And
awesome.
in front, right? Without your request, it's just part of it.
Anticipation.
Yeah. You know, hospitality and culinary arts come naturally to me. I think it was kind of bred into me, and I have a lot of fun with it. I admitted, I think yesterday, that I was diagnosed ADD. Most of us are, right?
Right.
But I think that this industry keeps me busy. You know, the stimuli, if you
Mm-hmm.
will,
Mm-hmm.
for my brain, the squirreling, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's
Well, you're
next?
right. Like you wouldn't survive well in a cubicle with a computer
Yeah,
looking
probably
at
not.
the TPS reports all day long.
Why does it say paper
That's
jam
right.
when there
Exactly.
is no paper jam?
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm just So
The restaurant's been a lot of fun, and you know, I come at it with a servant's heart. I'm in the Rotary Club here in Johnson City, and you know, the idea there is service above self. But
mm,
back to the general manager or managing partner, my commitment to my company, the job that I said yes to, is growth, sales, and profit. That's what my to-do is.
gotcha.
That's what I've said yes to do for this business in this town. And that comes through, you know, PR, that comes through quality execution, that comes through accurate repair and maintenance, through product quality. And,
Hmm.
you know, there's a lot of things that
There are a
play
lot
a
of
role.
factors for sure.
But, you know, what we do is accountability
Mm,
and applaud. You know, we want to give credit where credit's due. We need people that are going to be open-minded towards constructive feedback and bettering themselves. You know, if someone says your shoe's not tied, it's probably time to review the shoe, not to get offended
right.
that they mentioned it or, you know, disregard it. So you know, we try to surround ourselves with people that are willing
Hmm.
and able, and you know, give them a high five. I said it, at our business, every one of my staff members should know it right now. Our goal is to have fun and make money.
Yeah.
You know, it comes through work, it comes through sweat, it comes through, you know, tears. I've I've definitely had some tears in this facility.
Oh, sure.
You know, cuts and burns. I mean, tis the nature of the game, working in a
Hmm.
kitchen and
Yeah.
working with a chef knife on a daily basis. But the team that we have right now is incredible, and I'm proud to say that we just promoted a gentleman to a salaried position. He just left town. He moved to Kentucky, and he just took a salaried position. I believe he's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Joining Bonefish Grill as a culinary manager, and he did not pursue higher education. He simply learned the you know, the do's and don'ts of Bonefish Grill,
Sure.
and has been stellar at that. So hard worker, and I'm excited to see what his career path looks like.
Yeah.
But he's only been away from my team for about 3 weeks. You know,
How long has Bonefish been around?
they opened in St. Pete in 2000
Okay.
area. Yep,
So
right
about
around
20,
2000.
21 years.
Yep.
And here
Chris.
locally, did you open this store here?
No, I came in about a year and a half after they opened.
Okay.
This store opened in November 2011,
Okay.
and I joined them in March 13.
Okay.
So when this store opened, it was the hype.
Yeah.
JC, you know, and we were speaking about the build of Johnson City, and you know, the last 10 years, and then we got into the last 20 years, just talking about what a boom has happened, and the foresight. The same gentleman that promoted me to management and
Mm-hmm.
then promoted me to partner
Mm-hmm.
is the same gentleman that got you this Bonefish Grill here. He had the foresight to see what Johnson City was capable of, and all of the draw
Mm-hmm.
that was going to continue to happen, and that was came to fruition. You know, our town is booming,
It
right?
is,
It's
isn't it?
booming.
It is just nonstop. We got people coming in, and there are probably a lot of people you meet that are from out of the area coming in, and saying, "Hey, I didn't even know you had a Bonefish in Johnson City." You know, little old Johnson City's got a really nice restaurant, and we got a bunch of really nice restaurants, really. But um, yeah, we all love coming to the Bonefish. Which one you like? All right, let's dive into the menu there. What are some of your favorites on the menu right now at Bonefish? And because it rotates, you guys are good about different things all year long. But
Yeah.
what if we came into tonight? What would you say? Hey, order this tonight.
Well, the big draw right now, as far as the specials board goes, is a shrimp rangoon Atlantic salmon, wilted spinach, diced red bell pepper, jasmine rice, then the salmon and the rangoon. If you're not familiar with it, it's traditionally a cream cheese based filling and seafood. This one's with shrimp. You've got flavors of ginger and onion, again cilantro, and then a bit of sweet Thai chili sauce, which you could probably put sweet Thai on
I
anything, and
love
it's
that
good.
stuff.
Yeah,
Like
it's
I could
good.
put it on cereal and be like, yeah, this is delicious.
That's a big fave right now. I have a regular. Him and I were talking this week, and he said, Nathan, if I were to get one thing, what's your favorite?
This is
And
my question, right?
yep. And I told him I've been with him 12 years, and I'm not the one that would leave my facility to get other food. I am not going to get overly creative or dissect the menu. I'm going to order what's on my menu. And my favorite thing, we have a few topping profiles. One of the topping profiles that I absolutely love is called Lily's.
Yeah.
We have a menu item called Lily's Chicken.
Yeah.
So the Lily's topping is spinach. We do our spinach very simply. We do a garlic oil and a little bit of kosher salt. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, very subtle. And I tell the team, like, look at the salt, look at the spinach, and you're good.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need salt much because salt's on a table for a reason.
Right.
Everybody's sodium intake, blood pressure is very personable, and they can always add.
Yeah.
They can always add. We want to taste the spinach.
Yeah.
So spinach, goat cheese, chèvre, artichoke hearts, fresh chiffonade basil, and then lemon butter on top of Atlantic salmon is, I mean, stellar.
Maybe we'll be there this evening.
You got to like goat cheese, though. You know,
do.
so some people just can't have the palate for goat cheese.
I like goat cheese.
I love it.
It's good. It's got a nice creamy texture to it. It's delicious.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And dessert, what are we going to go for there? What's your favorite
That
go-to?
key lime cake is...
There's key lime cake.
It's killer.
Okay.
So, you know, the company's changed a lot over the years. And one of the things that's changed is in-house baking execution. You know, as the company gets larger and staffing systemically is challenging. You know, corporations find that they can have companies build these items on a more consistent basis, more readily available, less liabilities involved, right? If you don't have to touch an oven, probably going to get burnt less.
That's right.
Right. So the key lime cake, when it was presented, I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical. It's a 3-tiered white cake with a key lime frosting. And
I love cake.
It's got cream cheese frosting. So it's a cream cheese key lime flavor profile in the frosting. And then it's got toasted coconut encompassing the exterior of the cake. And then a little bit of fresh whipped cream, and then chiffonade mint, very thinly sliced mint.
Yeah.
So when they presented this, I'm thinking to myself, key lime, coconut, and mint. Like, it just didn't match.
Right. You're kind of coming from your culinary background.
Right. Like, I've seen a lot of desserts come
It's
and
a lot
go.
of like a lot of tarts and
it doesn't sound right to me. But you know, sometimes you just got to trust.
There you go. Trust and verify. You want to verify.
I did verify, sure. And now I need to be careful not to verify too much.
Right.
That key lime cake is phenomenal. The flavor profiles of that mint being added, and the subtleness of a non-overly sweet whipped cream. It's absolutely awesome. So
I love that you're still passionate about the food after 12 years. You know, like, you just are excited about it. And so
you can't be a good leader without being involved,
right?
You know, without, like you said, being in every corner of the facility, without believing in what we're doing, without having a lot of, focus, and inspiration or love for it. So, you know,
well, I know you've got to get to the store and open it up so that your staff can get rolling on making dinner for our amazing area. Anything that you want to leave our listeners with, like any advice for leadership, or why they should come to Johnson City, or anything that you've got on your heart that you want to share?
This town is great. It's great. There's a lot of diversity in the people. the amenities, the natural amenities are so readily available.
It's amazing.
And that's really like, I think the biggest goal that I'm looking for, um, I don't know if I'd say in life, and this is impromptu, so
Mm.
I have not been writing
No,
this
you're good.
down,
Yeah.
would be tranquility, or to be satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
contentment,
Peace.
peace. I would say, yeah, those are all
Mm-hmm.
similar.
Yeah.
And when I can, like we said, satisfy the family through
Mm-hmm.
love, nurturing,
Mm-hmm.
accountability,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then financially be able to satisfy them. And I don't have a mansion. I don't need a mansion.
Mm-mm.
Um, the tranquility that I have here, that we have here,
Mm-hmm.
I think for our town, is substantial. Is
Mm-hmm.
substantial. Getting into the outskirts of Johnson City, into Hampton and Irwin, and right, Flag
Elizabeth and
Pond,
Flag Pond.
Elizabethton, um, our God given beauties are just so readily available, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just so vibrantly there that
Mm-hmm.
He is with us,
Yeah.
that He has made this for us,
Yes.
to embrace, to run with,
Yeah.
to not take for granted.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of abilities. I think that a lot of times people shortchange themselves,
Mm-hmm.
through attitude, through work ethic. You got to believe in yourself, and things, most things are earned, not
Mm-hmm.
given.
Right.
For me anyways,
Well, you
most
got to
things.
work. I think,
Yeah, you gotta.
we were made to work and till the soil. And the Lord said, go and, subdue the earth. And so there's work to be done. We're not in the garden anymore. It's not easy,
Well,
but it's rewarding,
and that contentment doesn't come without work.
Right. And
You're not content without doing what you could or should be doing
right. And we've all
with
been,
yourself.
yeah, well, we've been given talents, right? I mean, like you are uniquely gifted. I am with something. And so if we're not using that to the maximum of our abilities, we're not honoring those gifts. And there's going to be a tension there. You're going to feel like you're out of whack a little bit. And so how can, besides coming by Bonefish, which is right on Roan Street across from the mall in Johnson City, how can our listeners connect with you? You got an email address? If they had questions they could answer, you could answer for them, or?
Yeah, there's a few ways. Nathan Buckmaster at bonefishgrill.com is an easy contact.
Yeah.
We're always looking for staff. 'Tis the season for staffing issues.
Yeah.
But I try to pride myself right there with Chick-fil-A or Pals or Firehouse, and
Sure.
being a good business leader, a good steward of our youth.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that's looking for gainful employment,
And the sky's the limit, right? You could start
Mm.
bussing tables and you could be running a store one day.
I started on Saute.
Yeah.
And Johnson City's been
Yeah.
my store for 8 years. So
if you're passionate about maybe getting into the restaurant business, come talk to Nate.
yeah, and even part-time,
Yeah.
this doesn't have to be a career field for everyone.
Right.
So do you want gainful employment for an interim, where you're going to be committed or what? But another means of contact is Water and Oil Expressions, Nicole Buckmaster.
Oh yeah.
That's Nick's business, and she
Give
set up
her
at
a
the
shout out.
farmers market. Yeah, so that's another means of contacting me or my family. But I'd love to, continue to meet our community and our
Oh my
town
gosh.
and
They're
the people within it.
fantastic people around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love getting to meet new people.
Yeah.
So tonight we're having a social for Rotary on the patio.
Oh, cool.
So we've got a big social put together, and we've got oysters coming in tonight.
Ooh.
So that's part of the reason for the big to-do list on
Yeah,
the day.
yeah.
I'm the shucker. I got 200 oysters on hand today that I'll be probably personally shucking.
Well, be careful.
Yeah, right. I'm not afraid.
Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for listening. Nate is a good friend and just a great dude. And so if you haven't met him, you're missing out. Come to the Bonefish, get a great meal, meet a great guy, and just have a great day. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.